wanted to talk to me about the guy that got arrested at my appearance last night.
So Gary went to do his lecture.
Gary as teacher, Professor Gary.
So Gary, there's a place called the Learning Annex. They call it the Learning Annex because all it really is a club when you think about it, except they call it the Learning Annex and they get people to work there cheap to appear and they tell them you can teach a class.
Yeah, and I think part of the allure to most of the classes, if you look at the catalog, is it's a singles pickup play.
Yeah. So Jackie fell for it. I think he did it for like $300 because he went, hey, it's fun.
Yeah.
I did it for less than that. I did it for like $100 honorarium in a hotel room.
Yeah, and meanwhile, probably a couple of hundred people show up at $40 a head.
They're making lots of money.
They make lots of money, and Jackie normally would be to a club owner. Hey.
I thought it was some kind of city college or something.
No.
I didn't realize
Gary even
too late that it was all independent.
Yeah, and Gary fell for Jackie fell for it, but Gary was like, I'm not falling. They would have been offering Gary $200 for a long time.
Yeah.
You know what they said to me?
He told me he had 130 people there last night at $40 a head.
They said, say hello to that sucker Jackie.
Yeah. Hey.
No, but you know what's really funny? Have you ever seen their, whatever it is, their course outline or their book? It's on newsprint. And one time the guy said to me, well, we have to put our book out. I said, it's a newspaper. How much does that cost?
Yeah.
Oh, they're telling you the cost goes into that book?
Oh,
right,
promotion.
Right.
Tell him to leave you out of the book.
Like Elle McPherson's on the cover of the catalog this month. She's going to do
a class.
But, all it's going to be is a bunch of horny guys with cameras.
Yeah. Hey, could you take off your clothes so we can take pictures of you?
Yeah, all those would-be photographers.
I'm pretty sure I'm going to be one of them, man.
Yeah.
I dig her a lot.
Yeah, I ought to go with you. I love Elle McPherson.
I just want to look at it.
Yeah, me too.
Cool.
Do you inhale when they take pictures?
So you were there last night giving your speech.
Right. They don't do it at a club. They actually do it like in a hotel ballroom.
And you're telling me...
because I don't even think they have a facility. It's like a place.
No, they do have a facility.
Oh, they do?
I wasn't sure until last night, but they do.
All right, so 130 people is a big class.
Yeah.
Now, what happened?
So, we did the whole class, and then we were doing questions and answers, and some guy was there, and he raised his hand.
Yeah.
And he said, like Stuttering John was there and Captain Jenks, and the guy goes, at what point is Howard going to be here?
Right.
And I said, I thought he was being goofy.
Right.
No, he says, where's Howard right now? I said, he's home sleeping.
Right.
And I said, well, at what point will Howard get here? And I said, he's not coming. And he goes, hey, man, they told me he was going to be here. And I said, who told you that? And he said, I called the Learning Annex today, and they said he was going to be here. So I said, you must have been mistaken. I said, has anybody else here under the impression that Howard was going to be here? And everybody said no. So I don't know what this guy's deal was. Well, he started getting really, really, bummed out. He goes, this is BS, man. This is false advertising. I want my money back. So right away, I thought you guys were, throwing something at me. But it wasn't even funny.
Right.
So the guy kept carrying on. So finally, I said to the people in the class, I said, would we like this guy to leave so we could have some fun? And everybody said, yeah. So there was hotel security.
Right.
And they took him out. And I figured, hey, that's it. The guy's gone. As they're taking him out, he's screaming, this is BS. I want my money back. I'm like, hey, give the guy his money back. Well, they got him outside, and like 5 minutes later, another guy comes in and says, my friend's being arrested in the lobby thanks to you. And I said, me? I didn't do anything. He was the one. I said, he can't be getting arrested. You don't get arrested for being an idiot.
Right.
And after
if that was the case, you'd have a life sentence.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, it turns out that after the class was over, I spoke to the hotel security, called the police, and they said they had him arrested for disorderly conduct.
Wow.
Ooh.
Okay, so should I tell him now?
Go ahead.
What?
We set that whole thing up.
Did you?
Yeah, because you're a moron.
But I don't understand, what was it?
Because we videotaped the whole thing for the E! Show. Just wanted to see how you handle stuff. Just want to see how you handled a heckler.
Did you
yeah, of course. That was my guy.
He wasn't even that good an actor.
And we had a video camera taping you the whole time.
Oh, you did?
We couldn't get somebody you'd know.
So where'd you put the camera?
We had it hidden in a box.
But you should have left it there. I mean, I wouldn't listen.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say anything on the camera that
We taped your whole thing.
Yeah. So what'd you hear about it?
What?
Did you hear there was any material?
I haven't talked to anyone yet.
Did you hear there was any material that was useful for... I
don't know yet.
To goof on me about?
Let's see. I got a whole list of stuff here. Evidently, they found a lot of interesting stuff.
Oh, man.
Here's Gary.
You mean, wait a minute. You mean it's already like... sold in leaders.
Oh, yeah.
Who did this?
We did.
Yeah, this gets done on time.
Yeah, this gets done on time when you're not involved.
Everybody gets enthusiastic when Gary.
Oh, well, please.
Yeah, I had a whole thing. First, we had, goofy questions, but you would have spotted that right away.
Yeah.
I said, so why don't you have a guy just get up and start yelling that it's a ripoff? And there was supposed to be, 6 people yelling that it was a ripoff.
They were,
but
unfortunately, they were all yelling outside.
Oh.
Because afterwards, they said, yeah, he was with, 6 people, but only the one guy said something.
Oh, I see.
Whose friend was he?
I don't know where we got that guy, but he must have been pretty good because he convinced. Because Gorilla came in and said, you should have seen it last night.
They all thought it was real.
Yeah. I can't wait to hear it.
Why would we think differently?
You all set?
I think we're all right.
All right, here we go. So here's Gary at the Learning Annex as some guy stands up in the audience and tells him this is a ripoff. I love this show.
Watch your back.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't appear right now that we're going to play ourselves, as far as I know. Although I know that some of us are represented in the movie, we may have other people playing us.
Look at Gary disappearances, answering questions about what he knows as much as...
About you, that movie as anybody on the street does.
That's right.
If you listen to the radio show, you'd know as much about the movie as Gary does.
Yeah, but see, I have the option. I get to hear all 4 hours. Not everyone gets to hear all 4 hours of the show.
It's true.
I'm a conduit to the, to the class.
Any good-looking girls in the crowd?
I don't remember. It was mostly
guys.
It was a lot of women, and there were a couple of good-looking ones. But for some reason, all I could see was Celeste and Melrose Larry.
Oh, they actually went. Oh,
yeah, I tend to stick on them.
Because Celeste was all the way off to the side because she was in her wheelchair. She had some shirt on that had so much writing on it that you couldn't. It was like, I'm Celeste from the Howard Stern show. You know.
Yeah, it's just to let people know.
But I couldn't understand it.
All right.
You mean you didn't invite her to be a part of it?
Melrose Larry got up. I said, does anybody have a question? So Melrose Larry got up, and I ignored him for the first...
Hey, he paid his money.
I ignored him for the first 15 questions. So then I said, all right, Larry, you can ask a question. I said, no statements, just a question. He goes, well, I have a short statement.
Oh, no.
So he says, I just want to say that I've been to see a psychiatrist, and I'm all fixed up now. And then everyone just started booing him, and he sat down.
He had a statement to make. What does he think? He's in a 12-step program?
No.
It's a Learning Annex thing.
He kept following me around all night, explaining how he was out of his mind,
right?
Too addicted to the show that he couldn't really function, but now it's okay.
Yeah.
But in the meantime...
But he's still at your appearance.
And in the meantime, he said, I will be downstairs tomorrow if you need me.
Okay, very good. All right, here's Gary being heckled.
I would hope, John and I have discussed this, and we really don't know the answer. I would hope that we would get an opportunity to turn up in the movie in some sort of a cameo, but, who knows?
He and John are discussing that.
Yeah.
John, Stuttering John,
you
not
Stuttering
John.
Yeah, you won't. Yeah,
you and Stuttering John have discussed showing up in some form?
Oh, John's whole thing is that he can't believe that you're going to get actors to play us. We were having and I said, John, we don't act.
Yeah, first of all, that hasn't been decided yet, and quite frankly, the movie actually...
It's about you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, don't break John's bubble.
But I just said, even if we were going to be in the movie, I can't act. I'm not an actor. You're trying to make a slick movie.
Exactly. There were scenes...
What are they going to do, crash the set and just get on film?
Well, John will crash the movie.
I was hoping I'd get a part as a bartender for a minute or something.
I see.
That's too much for you.
A minute. You know what a minute on screen could do? You could ruin my career.
He opened the bottles with his teeth.
Yeah.
Dice let Hot Tub Johnny in his dopey movie.
Yeah, he did well.
And look at how it did,
Yeah.
That's a perfect testament.
Dice is still sitting home wondering what happened.
Why is Howard Stern showing up tonight?
Oh, here you go. So here's the guy.
Oh, no.
Guy must have done a good job because he convinced Gary.
Is he an actor or something? Do we know?
I don't know. Anybody know anything out there for me? Want to come in? All right.
Who knows?
Yeah, when's Howard Stern showing up tonight?
What's that?
When's Howard showing up tonight?
When's it on tonight?
No, when's Howard coming here tonight?
Oh, he's not. He's already well into REM.
I thought they'd say on the phone that he would be coming tonight,
Oh, is
possibly.
that what he said?
The guy on the phone said he'd possibly come tonight.
You might have believed him.
No.
I apologize.
No.
Is anybody else here under the impression Howard was coming tonight?
No, they told me on the phone he was coming tonight.
Who did?
The person at the Learning Annex on the phone.
I thought we had a whole bunch of people lined up to start screaming, yeah.
Yeah, we were supposed to second it.
There was, right, yeah.
The person who's speaking now, his name is Jared, and he's not an actor, but he's a real big fan of the show.
Can you answer my question? Sure. Okay.
There was a bunch of people planted, but no one really. It got a little hostile, and they didn't.
They were
they were nervous. Well, a couple of them should have stood up and said, "Yeah, we thought he was coming too."
What did they think was going to happen?
What?
I was hoping for that. It didn't happen.
It didn't happen. That's where's Scott Einziger? I told him how to handle this.
Yeah. Who planted these people?
Where's Howard? It didn't happen.
I see.
They planted a bunch of wimps.
They did.
Chickened out.
I know. Who are these plants? Where did you get them from?
A couple of them are my roommates.
They actually acted like plants.
Yeah. Good acting.
Yeah, really.
All right, well, let's see how this plays out.
Who did?
The person at the Learning Annex on the phone told me he was coming tonight.
Then they were mistaken. You can go right back and get a refund.
No, it's a rip. No, wait a minute.
All right, next.
Rip off. Rip off.
It's a question that we do not have an answer to. We discussed it a couple of weeks on the air.
What happened there? I just heard a
He's
jump.
answering another question or something.
Yeah, I think he starts yelling some more. We didn't throw.
Oh, right. Yeah. So what we did was I told him to sit back down, and 30 seconds later start screaming "rip off."
Yeah.
texted him a lot of times. He just doesn't do it. He says he doesn't do interviews.
He's a sushi boy.
But we've sort of discussed it on the air. It's a very odd thing, and I don't understand why he doesn't. In the black shirt.
How come Howard didn't come tonight?
In the black shirt.
How come he didn't come tonight?
Because he wasn't invited.
Is that the same guy?
Yeah.
No.
This is me, boy Gary, from the Learning Annex. Not me.
Is he coming out later? No, he said he was coming. What did he say? What did he say to me? No,
do I come to your job and rock the Slurpee machine? Come on, guy.
All right, Gary.
Got comeback.
Wait, do I rock the Slurpee machine? You'd be rocking that Slurpee machine if you weren't here, believe me.
It gets worse than that.
All right.
Do I come to your house and smack out of your mother's mouth? Come on now.
Smack the what?
I can't say it.
We allude to it.
The male organ.
Oh, out of your mother's mouth. Oh, no wonder the guy got violent. Do I come to your house and smack the male organ out of your mother's mouth?
Wow, Gary.
Wow.
Thank you, Jackie Martin, for those comebacks.
Super.
In the black shirt.
No, you wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Howard, right?
Right, that's true. No, you're right. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Howard. What's that?
I was told Howard was going to be here. No, you shut up. I was told Howard was going to be here tonight.
And you know what? There's somebody waiting for you in the back. You're so stupid.
Yeah.
He turned around.
I couldn't see
you right up front here.
I couldn't see. No, I was told he was going to be here tonight.
Suddenly it's Israel in there. Hey, this is pretty good.
Knesset or whatever.
Yeah, right. Hey, this is pretty good. Too bad the other guys didn't start screaming. This is a ripoff.
Because you know what happened? What made me feel good was that the rest of the audience was sort of down on the guy, and it just seemed like one guy.
I know. What happened to them?
I don't know.
What, did you coach him properly?
Yeah, he was coached.
I'm holding you personally responsible.
See, what happened is that I didn't expect that the whole crowd was going to really turn and jump on him like that. And we went over with the Learning Annex people and the security there. They said if he gets hostile, they're going to escort. At this point, he's on his way out. He's being escorted out, which was all set up too.
Right.
And then he was going to...
No, they shouldn't have escorted him out. They should let him sit back down again.
Right, and then
nobody else came to his defense.
I know.
So
Other people should have said it's a ripoff. We want our money back.
I got a question.
Yeah.
How come everybody that hires me is so willing to set me up for something?
I know.
I mean, the Learning Annex
getting
people,
mad at the Learning Annex.
I'm still mad at the guy with the puppet. I'll tell you that right now. If I ever see that guy, I'm so mad at him. Would you guys like to see him leave so we can carry on? See you later. You gotta go.
What?
Somebody had it backed it up, then Gary would have been worried that, man, they really did have the message wrong.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
And I'm start apologizing.
Well, because what always makes me nervous is the one thing you always say.
Why does Alan Funt get it right and I can't get it right? My people.
How many times did Fund have to go out before he could get a piece of tape?
I masterminded a great scam, got the whole thing worked out.
You didn't talk to the people.
I did.
No, you didn't.
Oh,
you
mean,
didn't talk to the people. You
Oh, come on.
To the people who talk to the people.
Yeah, I mean, don't I have anyone in my organization who knows what's going on?
Who gave the instructions?
Who gave you the instructions? Einziger?
I know.
Einziger, why did I have you come back from World Wrestling if you are so bad?
Our conversation, from what I remember, was that you said we didn't want to have a lot of people.
No, just like 4 or 5.
The conversation that I had with you is you explain it, is you have the one guy. Okay?
No.
And then you said the guy sits down, and a minute later he says, rip off.
Right.
The
Rip
same
off,
guy,
rip off.
You never instructed me to get other people to say.
Of course. I said you got to have 5 or 6 people.
You didn't.
He's like a congressman now. As I recall, the conversation...
Well, then use your head and think of something. One guy out of a sea of millions is getting
really.
heckled.
Look at he's getting turned on.
Let me set up what happened. So at this point, the guy is getting escorted out.
Right.
And the plan was for him to be, calmed down by security, and then he'll come back in.
Oh, good.
But they said, the Learning Annex people said, and security said, if it gets hostile, which it did, and they all turned against him, then
they wouldn't let him come
they
back.
Wouldn't let him back in. So at this point, we sent security.
What are you? Are you mulatto? What are you?
What are you asking him that
You're Jewish?
for?
I don't know. He looks. I can't figure out what he is.
He's one of those Jewish guys that looks black.
Yeah.
You're very strange.
It's the hair.
Blurt out, are you mulatto?
I don't know. I'm listening to him talk, and I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what he is. What are you? Are you Jewish?
Guy from Long Island.
With that hair?
Yeah.
Sephardic, okay?
I'll put a hat on. I'm sorry.
He's got black features.
He's Sephardic.
What the neighbors look like?
They were all white and waspy.
I bet you your mom's was into a mailman or something.
Oh, don't the mail's here.
You were kind of fine today.
It's a bad haircut.
For a white woman, you ain't bad.
He's Roscoe Lee Goldstein. Leave him alone.
Roscoe Lee Goldstein.
I got a special package for you.
Good scene.
Special delivery.
Yes, go ahead, Roscoe. Yeah. Do people ever ask you if you're black?
Not in
Really?
the first.
Okay, go ahead.
Maybe
All right,
it's dark
Roscoe.
in here or something.
Maybe it's the excellent lighting from the E Network.
Right.
All right, Harvey
So at this
Washington.
point, the guy was gonna,
Harvey Washington. All right, go ahead.
the guy was going to come back in, but we decided not. Instead, Isaac, shut up.
All right, so go ahead, yeah.
You were
Look
saying.
at it.
Come here to your pappy.
Oh man, I'm
I'm
gonna
so
get
proud
out
of my son. He on E.
Only I could tell him the truth.
I only could tell him the truth.
I'm so proud of my son. He's a Jew.
I'm so proud of my Jew son. He a star.
How come he ain't a lawyer?
Like the other Jew.
That's
Or a
right.
doctor.
Like the rest of the Jew.
Or an accountant.
Like all the other Jew.
On a TV station. Well, he's on E. So, yeah.
That's cool.
He's working behind us, and he's like a Schwarzer.
Oh, that must be my blood.
See? If he were all Jew, he would be a lawyer.
He'd be the president of CBS.
Go ahead.
Okay, so at this point, the guy was going to be escorted out,
Right.
and he was going to come back in, but we decided instead to send the security guy in to get a bag that the guy left there,
Yeah.
and bring out the guy who was sitting next to him. So the guy next to him came out, and we wired him up, and that's...
Oh, good.
what the
Okay.
next
Here we go.
Oh,
I paid my money. I want a refund now. Give me the refund.
I felt your pain.
I want a refund.
Hey, I would let you stay, but you acted silly.
Yeah, okay. If I'll still listen to the show. Yeah, all right, whatever.
He was good, that guy.
To be here, I want a refund.
Not costing me anything.
What?
It's not costing me anything.
Right.
Bull.
Way in the back.
Way. I actually just want to hear Gary answering the normal questions.
yeah.
We'll have to listen to that
I
next.
wanted to hear his lecture.
Yeah, well, we'll hear some of that. We have that coming up next.
Oh, wonderful.
We have Gary being introduced by the Learning Annex director. Gary introducing his seminar. Gary's story about how, what he did before the show, which was go to BOCES.
Oh.
How he voluntarily went to the idiot school for BOCES.
That's true.
And he didn't even know it was an idiot school.
And then Gary talking about what he does daily.
That'll be interesting.
I rushed through that part.
For
what?
He's a big, for giving you a hard time. He's just.
Well, he can't be getting arrested.
He is. He's a big fan. He feels bad. Can you go talk to him?
No.
Come on, Gary.
What?
He was a douche.
No, the guy was acting silly. He's not getting arrested.
He was a...
You guys are just
Goodbye.
These guys are just being goofy. I'm sure Howard sent them. The guy right there.
So you thought it?
Yeah. No, I did. I really did. I just thought it was big. But then afterwards, nobody sort of alluded to it. So I said, maybe the guy was just an idiot.
And then when they told you he'd been arrested, did you think it was real?
I just said it seemed very hard to believe that you get arrested for heckling somebody. So I didn't even think about it at all.
Come on, Gary.
This is definitely some sort of a wacky setup for the show, and we'll figure it out tomorrow.
All right, so there you go.
Hey, very good, Gary.
He's punch drunk from all the wacky setups.
Everything that happens, he thinks probably in his life is a setup for the show.
Do you want to hear Gary being introduced by the Learning Annex director?
Yeah.
All right, you'll hear that right after these words. I just want to see if there's anything worthwhile listening to on this Fa-Fa-Foley tape.
Okay.
Gary's, I was just curious to see when someone hires Gary to give a guest lecture, what the hell he talks about.
Did he work on this a long time? Did you ask him?
No, I don't think so.
Everybody was very satisfied last night.
Were they?
Felt slighted.
How many hours? 2 hours?
2.5. Maybe 2:45.
Gary loves to rap about what he does on the show. He loves it. He'll talk to anyone about it.
That could take up 2.5 hours, don't you think?
Yeah.
I wish he spent that much time doing it.
And he's out of here pretty quick. He gets himself done pretty quickly in the day.
Oh, that's just so not true.
Here comes Gary.
Big
I
ovation?
listened during the commercials. I listened to the guy introducing him. It wasn't all that funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it was just goofy.
How did he introduce Gary? I mean, what do you say about a Gary when you have him come
He said he's known all over the world, and as Baba Booey, and Baba Booey is.
You know what you do? You list Howard's credits, and you say I assisted on it.
And he goes, he also was the producer of the Howard Stern Show, producer of Butt Bongo Fiesta, which he wasn't.
Segment producer.
Oh,
He's
segment.
He's a segment producer.
I see. Which he wasn't either. And what segment were you the producer of?
I don't remember, but that's what it said on the credit.
Did it?
When was he in the monkey outfit?
Oh, yeah, that's right. During that segment. Well, that's more acting. Yeah, I know Gary, always wanted a credit as segment producer, but at some point your resume looks dumb because everything he has a credit for is anything I've done.
Uh-huh.
So I give it to him. I mean, it's no big deal to me. I mean, I said, Gary.
But can you really put that on a resume?
Yeah, I mean, it's an empty.
Laughed out of the room.
Yeah, it's an empty thing to have segment producer if you really didn't do anything.
Now wait a second. Everything I do isn't involved with the show. I did book Stuttering John's video.
That's right.
And I did. I was a consultant for the Colin Quinn show on MTV
for about a day,
3 weeks.
Yeah.
The show didn't last that long.
No,
not my fault. Not Colin's fault.
A lot of people go Baba Booey, I hear, when you walk out.
Mostly Melrose Larry.
Oh.
Good evening.
Good evening. Welcome to an evening with Baba Booey. 130 people with nothing better to do.
Wow.
Nice job cutting.
So basically what I'm going to do is talk about how I got to where I am, what it is that I do. Because if you were to listen to Howard, I really don't do anything.
Oh,
so,
he's going to refute that tonight.
We'll actually play around and figure out what it is that I do, and I'll show some tapes, a lot of them from our old Channel 9 TV show, because we really did some legendary stuff there that hardly ever got an opportunity.
Jerry goes around showing tapes of my old TV show, which I think I have a problem with. I haven't figured out why yet.
Can I just say something?
Yeah. I know you asked me, and I said okay.
Yeah, you were the guy who said.
And I said, quite frankly, I said to Gary, I don't know that you have the right to do that.
This whole thing was sort of inspired by you, because I went to see Billy West, and I said, well, told you what Billy did, and you said, hey, you should do something like that.
No, you should do something like what Billy does, get a cartoon, Ren and Stimpy, not show my tapes. Inspired by me. Why am I the inspiration for all his bad ideas?
I would never do any. If you told me to stop doing it tomorrow, I would. I would
stop
never
doing it.
Okay, I will. I would never do anything
right,
that
good.
you didn't want.
So they're showing tapes of me. I don't know how I feel about that. Why am I not showing tapes of me?
With Gary.
I don't know.
Well, I'm in some of the tapes.
Gary.
We did some great things.
Like I showed, me getting my hair cut on the Channel 9 show, and I talked about how. Like I showed the Hooker Hollywood Square, just a small segment of it, and I told the story about how I went to get the hookers.
Well, maybe everyone on the show should just go around taking tapes of stuff I've done and just show it to people.
Well, we had.
Then everyone could just burn up home.
I might have had a little bit to do with some of these things.
So what if you had something to do with it? You were paid for that.
Yeah, I mean, after Howard gets an idea, a lot of people have something to do with it.
Yeah, I mean, what do you do? So you own it, and so does everyone else?
No, I never said that.
Stop showing me. Why is everyone involved with me? Why is everyone involved with me? You gotta start doing something on your own. Produce that baby you're having.
I am.
What you could have shown was your MTV audition tape.
Oh, yeah.
That's
dull. No, that's not dull.
Oh, that's a
show things that you've done, not what I've done. Don't show anything with my face in it. Thank you.
Some of your other, your Ricky Lake appearance.
Yeah, you've
other
done things.
wacky cable access shows.
All the things you've done.
I could have put this together. You should come and talk to me.
What?
I could have put this together for you without Howard tape.
Robin,
Jackie might be a pain in the ass, but I'll tell you something. At least Jackie just tells his stupid jokes. He doesn't ask me to write them. That's all. Just plug them.
That's commendable.
Which is something he deserves.
Wait, you're plugging and you're giving Gary a tape.
I give Gary his whole life, his nourishment.
Does anybody dispute that?
No, but I mean, for God's sakes, just leave me out of it.
You should have done a lecture.
What was that?
You should have done a lecture for
Why didn't you videotape Howard with a special message about Gary?
Yeah, right. A Gary message.
Pay to be seen.
Oh, boy. So basically what he told you he's going to do is he's going to tell you what he does and then show tapes of me.
Yeah.
At his learning
that's
annex.
what he does. He follows you around.
So how much money did I make last night? 0. Where's my cut?
I guess I'll start from the beginning, how I ended up with Howard Stern. When I was in high school, how many people here are from New York State?
They flew in from all over the country.
They were from all
They did. Some of them did. And was Howard, there's New Jersey.
I'd fly in too if you get to see my tapes.
There's New Jersey and Connecticut,
Right.
Know what Bosie's is.
Listen to his resume. Bosie's and then the Howard Stern Show. This is who I am.
Yeah, but you know what? I love this way he's speaking. He just starts mentioning names of places and getting applause.
I know. How many people from New York State?
That's not my fault.
How many people know Bosie's? Yay! All right.
I like that.
Okay. There's really a non-story here. The guy was in high school. He was the stupidest guy in his high school. Went and learned a trade. What were you learning at BOCES? Refrigerator repair?
No.
Come on, be honest.
I was going for commercial photography.
Oh, commercial photography.
And hadn't taken one picture there.
Yeah. You should see the pictures he takes.
Now, wait a second. I am the official photographer of the Howard Stern
No, you are the official photographer of my feet for the Howard Stern Show, which is all you seem to capture.
BOCES, my friends nicely call idiot school. BOCES is a vocational school, and when you're in high school...
This is a lecture.
You can do half your...
What is it, John?
I was just going to say, this intro of what he did before you lasts for about 45 minutes.
Oh, really?
Oh, he goes through his record store work. He goes through his he goes through his job at Houlihan's, and how he stayed out late and went drinking after work.
John, you're taking it all out of context. No, I told you about all the stuff that...
Are people sleeping?
Well, see, I wanted to tell Gary, off the air that this part should only have been 10 minutes.
No, and John's right. This part went a little long.
No one, Gary. Everyone in their life has done that.
No, it was the first time I ever did it. John's right. It went a little long.
Read my book. I don't talk about being, a camp counselor.
Hey, everybody doesn't get everything right the first time.
But, Gary, if you're going to talk about how, BOCES didn't get you to
Nobody invited you into this conversation, Robin. I remember that.
BOCES didn't get you
She's invited as long as she's got a microphone open.
So Gary basically experimented at $40 a head.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, at least I experimented a little bit more than you got, you moron. You experimented for free.
How many people know BOCES?
Right, Jackie?
Yeah, I admit it. I
got a stipend.
I didn't know what to do, and I wasn't sure what I was going to do, so I just went and gave it a try.
So in other words, you didn't feel comfortable taking money for something you didn't know you were going to do.
I had no idea what I was going to do.
All right, fair enough.
So Jackie just let the learning annex take it, and he got nothing out of it.
That's right. That was very
good work.
Honorable.
Good work. You sell those T-shirts after the show? Come on, be honest.
No.
You liar. Day at your home school, and then you can do your other half a day at this vocational school. And most of the majors there are like...
His credits are high school.
No, you know what? This is a lecture to help you get into BOCES.
I know. I learned more about BOCES than what he does at the Howard Stern Show.
He's a recruiter.
BOCES is, for anyone around the country, BOCES is for idiots.
There's no disputing
when your parents don't even bother to tell you to come all the time.
When you have to go home and your guidance counselor has told you to tell your parents you're suitable for BOCES, that's like saying to your parents, your genetics are... You come from sewer rats.
You're close to retard.
You're close to retard. You're as close to retard without actually be putting into a retard school.
I learned two things equally at BOCES. One of them was how to make pictures, and the other one was how to do bong hits.
Right.
You were allowed to smoke in class.
So what does he talk about at the record store? Does he list the actual records he sold?
He really gets pretty descriptive about his job.
Oh, wait, I got to go on with this. Wait a second. Gary Puppet wants to say something.
See, I used to stock Loverboy and Bryan Adams records. Oh, before we go too far, I'd like to go a little bit back, a little bit more. At 8, I had a paper route. At 9, I finally stopped wetting my bed. And at 10, I had my first Italian eye. Whoopee.
At one point, he goes, well, see, on one of my jobs, I was the token idiot. I said, well, I guess nothing's changed.
I think that's every job.
John was like out there heckling me, every once in a while, too.
But Gary, it's amazing. I mean, this is some lecture. We're learning about BOCES.
Well, we're learning about how... and air conditioning, auto body.
I guess this is to say, hey, now I'm a big success, but I had to start out from humble
people
beginning.
didn't have much hope for me.
Right.
Look at this.
And look at and look at the star I am now.
Wait a second. Hold on a second.
Now I got own horn.
I got to explain something right now.
Horatio Alger.
I did not get... Wait a second.
Horatio Alger. Look at my teeth.
I got to make
the funny thing is, he's not a success now.
Wait a second.
I was even talking, I have problems with Gary because sometimes it's hard to get through to him about what he has to do with his real job, which is office work.
Yeah.
And Gary's problem is he believes he's a celebrity now. He's very hard to deal with.
Oh, dear.
That's not
He's
true.
got an attitude
absolutely.
problem.
It's not an attitude, but some things I think he thinks are beneath him because he's a celebrity.
Like what? No, but I'm not a celebrity.
No, you believe, trust me, you don't see it in yourself. So,
luckily I have you to see it for me.
My problem is, you know what it is? If he was an office worker, right?
Yeah.
And I never put him on the air. You'd say to him, look, I can't use you anymore. You're not performing in an office way, and that'd be the end of it.
Or maybe he would perform better.
Right. But everyone here thinks they're a star because they're on the radio and they feel they're indispensable. In other words, how can you get rid of me? I'm Baba Booey from the radio.
Right.
And it's very hard to get them to do their office work, which is what I'm really after with them. Like John's a celebrity, and Gary, and Baba Fooey, and this one. And I really never planned on that. So every time I try to hire someone to actually do office work, they end up getting on the radio, and then they're ruined. Say.
Okay, I have
Now I guess he thinks that everything about him must be much more interesting then. That's why he's talking so long about both.
Well, he's a celebrity. In other words, people will be fascinated to learn his humble beginnings.
One small
he's a
point
celebrity.
Wait a second.
I mean, it does go to a guy's head when 130 people show up to see.
At $30 a head,
to learn about how you rose to the top.
See, I went from nothing to nothing.
But see, you know what?
Here's the lecture you really should give. Here's the lecture. Gary was going nowhere fast. What happened was when I got to NBC, they'd only give you $150 a week for someone to call a producer. They didn't care what you called it. I just said, I need someone
It was a gopher.
I need someone to get food for me.
Yeah.
So I said, who am I going to get? The guy, the janitor at NBC made $30,000 a year.
Hey, wait a second. I beat out somebody for this job.
Who?
I don't know, some scary guy in the newsroom.
Really?
Yes.
All right.
I did beat...
But I needed a moron.
And I
said to them, please, can't you give me more than $150 a week so I can get somebody besides a moron? So they said, here's a guy from Bosie's.
They didn't tell you from Bosie.
You didn't know.
Yes, I did.
No, you didn't know. You know you didn't know.
So I said, well, he qualifies. I mean, what do you want from me? I didn't even interview him. Fred did.
Wait a second. Can I just make one point? Howard, can I make a point?
He showed up in a suit.
Well, that's because Fred told him.
And Fred
started goofing on him right away.
Fred told him to wear a suit, and then Fred goofed on him. And then I said, okay, so let's let this guy get our food.
Yeah.
And I'm a very loyal person. Listen, I can't fire him. But he really isn't qualified.
Howard, can I make one very small point?
And now he's giving lectures.
Please.
There is no other job in the world like this one. Don't go to see him talk.
Just one small point.
Yeah.
Really a tiny point. When I was in high school, I wanted to be a photographer, and Bosie's had a photography program.
Here we go again with the same lecture.
Listen, I'm making a point.
I heard this last night.
Shush. I did not...
Do we have to pay money for this?
I did not get sent...
Here's $40. Will you shut up?
I did not get sent to Bosie's. I went there voluntarily.
Gary.
Terribly. I'm trying to talk, you moron.
You chose to go to a stupid school.
Yeah, you mean you chose Bosie's?
They had a good program for photography. I did not get sent there.
Don't interrupt me while I'm embarrassing myself.
He goes, most of the idiots went to Bosie's, but mine, in case was...
I chose to go
My
there.
photography students were geniuses.
Well, you couldn't get a good photography course at your local high school.
And you couldn't pick up picture taking anywhere else.
Yeah, it's really hard.
That's where you could go.
You buy a Kodak and you aim it at something.
Most of the people you see taking pictures didn't take any courses at all.
They had a great program at Bosie's for photography. It was refrigeration and air conditioning.
Here's my life. Eeny, meeny. What's next?
Most of the women there go for cosmetology. You know, it's really a dumping ground for kids in schools that the guidance counselors can't figure out what to do with, and they want to get rid of them. That wasn't me. I actually went there on my own accord because I wanted to go into commercial photography, and they had a great commercial photo course.
I went to a dump on my own accord.
I went on my own accord.
Well, now that you guys put it that way, that's sort of goofy.
How Gary voluntarily went to idiot school. This one is a story about 50 ways to rank your mother. Now, why are you talking about the embarrassments in my career? Why?
No. It was a story.
Why are you talking about it?
It was actually about how I reacted to it the first time I'd seen it. I told you the story before, but you're going to pretend I didn't.
Oh, please. I don't care if I've heard this story before. Don't talk about me. Talk about you.
I still don't know how you got here.
On my own accord.
The shame is
Didn't I tell you that?
All right, let me go to...
Should have dubbed the whole Hula Hands rap, too. That was...
Yeah, where is the Hula Hands rap? Scott, can you get me that one?
TGI
in here quick?
You idiot.
Oh, TGI Fridays. He does a whole rap about being a waiter.
John, you are so stupid. You didn't know the difference between TGI Fridays and Hula Hands.
Yeah, they make the burgers differently.
Don't you pay attention to the lecture?
There's a test.
I want to hear Gary talking about what he does daily.
I want to know why John's so mean.
I'm not mean. I was.
He can't wait to get in here.
No, because I spoke to your management at the show. I said, you guys got to tell him you got to chill on this rap.
What management?
Gary's got 3 managers.
Who's his managers?
You got
Mo, Larry, and Curly.
Gary has management?
Yeah, Gary's got 3 managers.
Who is your manager?
Some guys.
What are you talking about, managers?
I got guys that manage me.
And they get a cut of the action?
Yes. They book my appearances.
Get them on the phone.
You don't want to talk to them.
So you went up and you talked to the management?
Yeah, because I noticed it was kind of dying around here. I said, guys, you got to tell them to just chill.
Well, what else is he going to talk about?
No, just... I was,
John, overall, how would you say that?
It was good, but
overall.
This should have been 5 minutes long.
Okay, you're right.
And this went for an hour.
No, John's wrong. It didn't go for an hour because we started at 6:40.
Well, let's hear what you do for a living. Let's hear you talking about your job. That's all I'm interested in. I want to know what you do.
Actually, the rap before I met you went for about 15 or 20 minutes, and then I talked a lot about what happened when I met Howard.
But most of it was about Bosie's.
Well, hey, that was a big... If you think about it, what did he do before me? He went to Bosie's.
Wait a second, what about Adelphi?
Telling them how he met you.
Gary, it's not an impressive career. You went to college. You paid someone to babysit you.
Sure.
That's your career.
And I talked about...
And then you got hired by me to go get coffee.
I talked about the internships I did before I met you, how they helped me along.
Okay, all right. Let me hear what you do. I don't even care about any of this. I'm just waiting to hear what you do here.
Actually, I can already tell you
This is what I'd have paid $30 for.
I think I really breezed through this quickly.
All right.
This is a really bad piece of tape for me.
Well, this is what everyone went to the Learning Annex to hear.
Find out.
And that you breeze through. Both
no.
is 25 minutes. This is where you go for photography.
You guys
That was a dump.
You guys should twist it all.
I chose to go there.
This is a tough room. A lot of people say, Gary, what do you do? Howard says, what do I do? What do you do?
Not a lot of people, just me.
Well, you say it so often.
A lot of people say.
It sounds like a stampede.
Gary says it.
That's true. I say it so much, people think it's a lot of people saying it.
I was laying in
Gary
bed.
gets confused.
I was laying in bed last night going, what do I do? Or John's pulling up a chair.
Then I worked at Crazy Eddie's, and he was crazy.
My day starts like this. I
have a little bread. We're going to get up. I get up.
I swear to God, that's what I said.
I take a shower, and then I get brainwashed.
Can I leave?
No, it's fun to do it in front of your face. Unlike other people, I'm not a backstabber.
Oops, I forgot to brush again. By the way, let me tell you one thing. My breath is so bad, even the people on the phone hang up when I talk to them.
My day starts like this. I have just recently moved out of the city, so now I get up at about 4:25 in the morning, which is an ungodly hour.
Ungodly.
On my own accord.
Leave my house about 10 to 5.
On my own
I'm at
accord.
K-Rock by 5:30, and then we start prepping for the show.
5:30. I've yet to see you here at 5:30.
Every morning. So, a lot of the interns are in already. Steve Gorilla is in, and he helps get the show set up. And there's a lot of setup that's involved.
People who work for free beat me to work.
I know.
I drive myself to work, I think.
Hey, that's hard work.
Hey, man, so far, all I've heard that he's done is that other people show up.
Yeah.
So far, he gets up.
Yeah.
And it's
That's
ungodly.
the hardest thing
I
you
get
ever
up.
say.
I get up, and then I come in, and Steve
And then
Gorilla
I come in and Steve sets up the studio. So Steve should be up here getting $40.
A lot of the
What he
interns
does.
are already there.
In other words, Gorilla does more than Gary
I
already.
come in to make sure Gorilla did some work.
Chairs there? Very good, Steve.
All
Thank you.
25.
You gotta turn around.
It's so much easier not looking at you.
You gotta see the face.
It's so much easier not looking at you.
Both 4:25. Ungodly.
I just moved out of the city. That means I have to get up at 4:25.
What time were you getting up before? I'm surprised you
Get
didn't
away
get into
from me,
that.
you camera.
He forgot there's a camera on him. He thinks I can't see him.
Down.
Get away from me.
I
you
have
can't.
city hours and I have country hours.
Now I have to drive.
I think.
What time did you used to get up? You didn't say, why don't you reveal something you didn't give in a lecture?
What's that?
What time did you get up when you lived in the city?
About 5:15.
And now you get up at 4:25.
Right.
Was 5:15 an ungodly hour?
Yes.
Okay.
But not as ungodly. And I did get up at my own accord at 5:15 as well.
What time do you get up, Gary Puppet?
As soon as they get taken out of the bag.
Well, it depends. Am I in the city or am I in the country?
Well, I guess.
Could you call Connecticut? Because I moved, and they have to change the little sign that says the population. Add one.
I'm waiting for my number.
My population hasn't shifted.
Oh, add Mary, too.
And our baby.
And our little baby booey.
It's really tedious stuff. We're on in 18 different markets, and every market has to know what commercials are going to be run that day so they can follow along. Howard likes the studios.
What does Gary have to do with
So
that?
far, nothing.
What is he doing?
He's vamping till he gets to what he does.
That's true.
He's trying to make it look long.
Right. There's 18 markets and a lot of commercials.
It's really tedious stuff.
I gave that to
You
Kathy to
don't
do.
any of
All
that
the tedious stuff Kathy's doing.
Set up just so, we have our own sets of headphones. We have our own chairs that we like to use. Everything's going to be set up in a way we block out.
Do you do the setup?
No.
No, but I oversee it. And make sure it's done correctly.
What is it, Gary Puppet?
And now, I'd like to give you the 1975 Yankee lineup. on first base.
Chris Chambliss. The windows so that people can't look in, which everybody comes and thinks is really stupid, but you would find it really difficult to work if somebody was staring at you while you were doing your job, and that's what happened. So we put newspaper over the window.
Who does that, John?
A Grillo, and it's not even newspaper.
Oh, well, that makes a big difference, John.
Well, if you're going to be accurate.
If you did the job, you'd know what it was.
So far, the question was, you said you were going to now tell what you did.
John can get everything right except looking at a clock and getting here on time.
Oh, come on. I was at your thing for 3 hours.
So what are you telling me, Gary? What do you do?
Huh?
We still don't know what you do.
When do we get to what you do?
It's coming up right now.
All right, good.
Right there. Unless Scott cut it off if we're lucky. We do those sort of things. And then the show starts. While the show is on, I open up the mail. I go through Howard's mail and really sift through, because there's a lot of junk in the mail that's not necessary for him to see. There's a lot of stuff that's really good right for the moment. And then I listen to the show, and Tuesday, as Gorilla tells you. And I listen to the show, and then it's that's when you hear Howard yelling.
He listens to the show.
He comes in at 5:30 in the morning to listen to the show.
So he does exactly what I thought he does.
Yeah.
At an ungodly hour.
Well, and he does open the mail.
Well, he's supposed to open the mail after the show, but he likes to get out of here quick, so he now does it during the show because there's nothing else to do.
No, I like to do it during the show because there are things we can use for that day, that moment. But,
when is the last time he came in with a letter that needed to be on the air for the moment?
The day before yesterday, I actually did. I did. I came in 2 days ago with one. Get me the number for McDonald's in Lebanon. I want to call McDonald's in Lebanon or something. And actually, I have a radio in my office that is a direct feed, because I don't know how many people know, but the show is broadcast on delay. What we're doing, you're hearing around 70 seconds later.
Oh. All right, I can't. This is the most boring.
Yeah, it's boring for you.
It is boring.
Well, because you know it.
I know it.
I wonder if he told him about the time he was supposed to get the librarian's number and you asked him if he tried information.
Yeah. Whoops. Yeah. Gary doesn't tell you about his failures. So
that would be interesting.
Part of my job is to look up numbers if Howard needs a number. So what I did was, Howard a number for a librarian. So,
you don't need me for this part.
I got a private detective, and they couldn't find her.
I can't believe
Gary.
And then I called CNN, and they couldn't find her.
So for 2 days, I'm waiting to get the number for this Weslaco lady. He goes, I called the newspaper. I got a direct.
The reporter doesn't want to give me the number.
But we're arguing about it. So we say to Gary, maybe you should just ask the operator if she's listed.
Jack, you're going to die of a heart attack if you laugh any harder.
Yeah.
So what we learned...
Did you tell him that story?
No, but could I take this tape and bring it to the next...
Wolf.
All right. Anyway, very good.
What we learned is Gary listens to the show. That's interesting.
All right. Well, listen, Gary, congratulations on your Learning Annex appearance.
And thank you for setting me up again as usual. Appreciate it.
All right.
I'd love to toot my horn some more, but I think my battery is dead.
All right, Gary Puppet.
Thank you.
Good to see you, too, as well. Haven't seen you in a couple of days. And Jackie Puppet sort of taking the wind out of your sails.
I don't know. I always hate Jackie. Sure, laugh it up, you big puppet head.
Jackie Puppet and Gary Puppet, you angry with one another.
Yeah, loggerheads.
But
of our own accord.
Gary Puppet has an appearance.
Oh, he does? Where is Gary Puppet appearing?
A week from tomorrow. It's going to be a Tops Appliance in Long Island City.
Try not to lose me this time.
No, where's Jackie Puppet going to be?
I haven't let him work yet.
Yeah. He wants too much money.
As you pick up Jackie Puppet, his arms fall off.
Jackie Puppet hasn't asked Nancy whether he's getting enough money yet.
All right, very good. Okay, congratulations, Papa Fooey.
The Learning Annex lecture.
Sound like a great... Well, there's plenty more, but I don't know if I can handle it. We're going to take a break. Unless there's something that I should be hearing. Do you know of any
a lot of it's visual. Like Gary had these tapes, but he didn't take time to edit them, so he's played these tapes, and then like the commercial,
So you sat there and watched my TV show, and then commercials would come on.
Yeah, commercials come on. Then he goes, "Grill, turn it off."
Oh.
And then he does the tape of my interviews, and like the tape quality was all like...
That wasn't the tape. That wasn't the tape. It was the machine.
What is it, Ganji?
Well, we do have tape of like Gary's opinion on like Robin. And,
well, I'd like to hear that.
A little Q&A.
Yeah, Q&A. I'd like to hear. Maybe does everyone want to hear that?
Sure.
Yeah, that was actually good because Gary's are usually like 3 minutes long.
Yeah.
And then they could be just yes or no.
Yeah, right. He just goes on and on.
John, people aren't paying to hear yes or no. They want to hear about the show. John, could you do it?
I wouldn't want to do this.
Could you though?
Yeah. Why? I mean, look. What? I can't tell that
he can bore people for 2 hours.
I can tell him I used to drive a truck for Wholesale Tire.
Yeah.
The reason we didn't pull all that rap about him working at Fridays and stuff, it was so boring. We sat back there and we're going, should we pull it? We could pull it to show how boring it was, but we're like, oh, it's just too boring.
Yeah, if it's boring, are people going to sit and listen to it?
Right.
How long did he talk about how he worked at TGIF?
Probably about 20 minutes. No, not at TGIF, but all those.
How long did he talk?
That whole rap from all his boring jobs was at least like 20 minutes to a half hour. It was just so boring.
And then I came in around 5:30, and the bus boys were putting the plates on the tables. And then I watched as they made the coleslaw. It was quite fascinating. But I knew it wasn't for me. I had to move on.
What did he do with this great photography education he got? He never used it.
I didn't do anything with it.
Well, he explains how Adelphi told him to take communications, and that was
they recognized great potential in him. Adelphi. Well, there must have been more money for the course.
At one spot, I think on the tape that you have, it talks about how he first came in contact with you, not contact, but he saw your record album.
Right. Yes.
At wherever the record store he was working, and his opinion of you.
Yes.
When he first saw the record.
I see.
Yeah, I thought you were a jerk. I looked at the picture and I thought it was stupid. I didn't know who you were.
Oh, I see.
He used a little stronger language than jerk.
Oh, did he? What did he say? Ass?
Yeah. But I told you that story before. How
could you judge anybody?
Well, I was young and
with
stupid.
your background.
Now I'm old and stupid.
I mean, well, he's moving the albums.
Yeah. He's making sure it's in alphabetical order.
He's got an opinion of every album he has to lug.
This guy's an idiot.
This guy's a jerk.
Now, let's see. His last name is Stern, so that would go after, what? After Janis Joplin.
After Slaw. No, that was the other place I worked. By the way, which is the coal and which is the slaw? I never knew.
If he's a disc jockey, do I put him with rock groups or do I put him in his own category?
I think he might go with spoken word.
Yeah, is this spoken word or?
I'll put him right after Isaac.
Or is this music?
Hey, this guy looks like a real ass. But if there were no albums, I'd have no job.
Maybe he should be an A.
For ass.
God, yeah. Thank God for asses on albums, or I'll be out of work.
Right. More asses, more albums to catalog. All right, very good. Congratulations on a great speech. I'm sure a lot of people. If there's anything good back there, quickly bring it in to me because.
TGI Friday rap. That's a good one.
TGIF, whatever that is.
TGI Friday.
I've never even been to one.
Is that what that means?
You mean you worked at TGIF, Gary Puffett, and you didn't know what it meant? You thought it was just initials.
Yeah.
I see.
I thought TGI was a guy.
Yeah, I thought it was the guy who owned the place,
TGIF.
I used to call it.
You used to actually call the place Taguf? Taguf.
And my mom called it. I come home from a very hard day of pushing around coleslaw, and my mom would say, "Hi, Baba Booey. How'd it go?" I said, "Mom, you screwed it up again. It's."
All right, we're going to take a break, and we'll be back right after these words. I've just about had it with this Baba Booey tape because we have to call Ray Liotta's ex-girlfriend. We got her number.
Oh, we did.
Yeah.
Oh, wonderful.
But I wanted to see if there's... Hold on.
Oh, bless you.
Just some snot out of my nose.
I'm sorry.
Maybe a tissue. Oh, here's a tissue.
You just let that go, huh?
I don't know how to hold it back.
I meant you didn't grab a tissue in preparation.
No, here, I got a little mess on my hand. I caught it right in my hand. What's the difference? I love my hand. I catch everything in my hand. All bodily fluids.
And then you what? You go touch other people?
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't care what happens to them. I don't care what happens to me. That's why I don't touch other people. I know what I do. I'm sure they're doing worse.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay, you want to hear Gary's Q&A real fast? This is Gary at the Learning Annex last night explaining stuff like what he does, and these are people asking him questions. This is somebody asked about his relationship with Robin. I don't know what this is. I'll see if it's no good, I'll just blow out of it. There's some guy who wants to yell at me real quick. So, what is that? Oh, I know what that is. I don't know what reel I've got. Nobody talks.
What we're going to do now is we're just going to open it up for questions and answers. See if anybody has any questions that you want to ask myself.
Supposedly he talked for an hour and a half before he opened it up to questions and answers, and the hour and a half was all about his his BOCES and
his background.
Yeah.
Or Stuttery John, or if there's anybody else in the audience you want to ask, let's start with you.
When Robin was interviewing for her book, she said that you and she had bonded. And what I want to know is, what did you two of you talk about, and what is the nature of your relationship with her?
Okay, the nature of our relationship is I liken it a lot to a brother and a sister. She's like a sister to me. We fight like a brother and a sister do. Sometimes she pisses me off so much, I might say, I hate that bitch. But if you said, Robin's a bitch, I would be like, you can't call her a bitch. I can call her a bitch because she's my sister. I would defend her to the death. We've had our ups and downs in the past, but we get along pretty good now. I mean, when she screws with me on the air, it really does piss me off. And when I say those things at that moment, I really do mean them. But we get along very well. And it really is the show.
That sounds like you get along real well. You fight all the time.
But we love it.
But he will defend you if someone else picks on you.
To the death.
To the deaf. To the deaf people.
I will fight tooth and nail. And tooth. Mostly tooth.
Well, as long as he fights with me, fights for me tooth, I'll be covered.
I would give up my teeth for Robin.
Well, at least half a tooth.
In general, is a lot like a family. You know, Howard's the father. Robin's sort of like the mother or the older sister.
And Gary's the monkey.
Gary's the pet.
Gary's our pet.
I'm the mascot.
Let's find out. Let's see. You're the mommy. To Gary, I'm the daddy. That's just what I need.
Jackie's the drunk uncle. Fred's he's the Martian in the family. But what happened was Robin and I.
I was stuck here, boss.
I didn't know what to say about Fred.
I'm afraid.
So I call him the Martian.
Had some really brutal, like not even amusing fights some years ago. And we never really talked about them. And during this interview session for the book, we talked about them. And we ironed out a lot of stuff. And Robin, that's what Robin's book is going to be about.
Fighting with Gary.
Different fights with Gary.
Round 2.
Do you want to hear him answer a question about his sleeping habits?
Yes.
Are you really fascinated by this? You're having too much fun.
I love Gary. Gary's an amusement to me.
Tonight till about 10 o'clock, and then you have to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, and you work this morning. How do you...
I took a nap. I took a nap.
Gary, how do you keep up with that demanding schedule? You got to understand something. It doesn't matter that Gary gets a little sleep because
Gary can nap all day long.
Yeah. Forest Delabate.
I'll be right here.
Nap. I took a nap this afternoon, and you learn to live on less sleep, and you learn how to, I couldn't do 3 of these in a week. I'm going to do this. I'm going to get a minimal amount of sleep tomorrow. I'll leave work tomorrow, and then actually I have an appearance tomorrow night with John Bobbitt at the.
So in other words, he's dopey for his job.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he'll be so tired that
he saved himself for this.
Yeah. In other words, he slept all afternoon instead of being here working.
Yeah.
Yeah, these personal appearances are doing me a lot of good.
Also.
Sorry, Gary Puppet?
Also, to prepare for tonight, I've been resting my brain since 1979.
That's close. But I'll go home and catch some sleep.
He's always catching sleep on my time.
No, I don't take any drugs. I swear to God, I'm drug-free.
Do you have any, sir?
Stuttering John. Such a cool guy.
Short, and you're probably asking me, who's the real Howard Stern, the guy in the radio or the guy off the radio? Is that sort of the question?
How would he know?
That was a good reaction.
You know what? It's a commonly asked question, and the answer to me is very simple. It's got to be, the person on the air has to be an extension of something that's going on in Howard's mind.
A psychologist.
Gary's in-depth analysis of Howard Stern.
Well, I did go to BOCES. I have some credentials to analyze.
Photography course.
He's probably, listen, we all have thoughts in our mind that we're not allowed to bring out in real life or that we suppress because, we get our asses kicked or whatever. Howard is one of those guys who's found, not only is he lucky enough to let those thoughts out, he's getting paid damn good money to do it.
Well, I'm lucky. I'm lucky to get these thoughts out.
I'm still waiting for my first thought.
I know I have them.
But I know when I get one, it'll be a good one.
I haven't caught one yet.
Gary Puppet, you're waiting for your first good thought?
For my first good thought, and I want big bucks.
You think I'm missing my thoughts when I'm sleeping?
No.
Gary, he gets to say what he wants. He's damn lucky.
That's right. I'll catch it like I catch sleep.
Everything to Gary is luck. No such thing as hard work.
Well, he was lucky.
Yeah.
He found you.
And by the way, I believe he is an extension of his personality. Wolf won the lottery. He's just lucky.
I think Howard is an extension of the thoughts in his mind.
Gary looks at me as a guy like who wins the lottery. You know, hey, you won the lottery.
We all have these thoughts.
Right. It's just Howard is lucky enough to get to express them.
Yeah.
That's right. And my thoughts are an extension of my teeth.
Yeah, and that just happened through luck, you know, that I got to express them.
I'm sure I have these thoughts, too.
Yeah, I know I have thoughts, but nobody wants to hear them.
I have the same thoughts. I just haven't found my 5-leaf clover yet.